In this tutorial, you'll learn how to easily manage the approval of documents or processes across various services like SharePoint, Dynamics 365, Salesforce, OneDrive for Business, Zendesk, or WordPress. With Power Automate, you can automate and simplify your approval processes, making them more efficient and error-free. By the way, if you want to watch the full beginner's course that this tutorial is part of, click here in the top right-hand corner. To set up an approval workflow, we add a approvals, start and wait for an approval action into our desired flow. Upon integration, this action empowers your flow to effectively manage the approval process for a variety of documents and processes. For instance, you can craft document approval flows aimed at endorsing items like invoices, work orders, sales quotations, and even Twitter content. Additionally, process approval flows can be tailored to grant approval for a wide array of scenarios, including vacation requests, overtime work, travel plans, and other business processes. Before we begin with our flow, we will need a SharePoint list for this example. I'll navigate to SharePoint by clicking on the app launcher and choosing SharePoint. My site is called Student Demo, so I'll click on that. I'll click on New to create a list. Let's choose Blank List, and I'll name mine Vacation Request. The title column is there by default. We can keep that there. We're going to add 5 additional columns. The first 2 are going to be of time, date, and time. I'll choose that for the first and name it Start Date. I'll do the same for the second column and name it End Date. Next, let's add a column of type text, and we'll call this Comments. Then we'll add a column to record the approval status. I'll choose the type Yes, No, and call it Approved. We'll set the default to No. Finally, we'll add a column for the manager's comments, and we'll choose type Text for this. Now that we have our list set up, let's go back to the Power Automate homepage. On the homepage, we'll click on the Create button to start creating our flow, and then choose Automated Cloud Flow. I'm going to name my flow Approval Request. Now, under Choose Your Flows trigger, select When an Item is Created, SharePoint, select it and click Create. On the When an Item is Created card, provide the site address and list name for the SharePoint list we have just prepared. Great. With the foundation set, let's move on. It's time to add a profile action. Simply type Profile into the search box and select Office 365 Users. Find and choose the Get My Profile V2 action. Now, let's integrate the power of approvals. We'll create another step and we'll type Approval in the action search box and select Start and wait for an approval. For the first approval type, everyone must approve, requiring that all assigned approvers agree for a vacation request to be approved, but any approver can reject the entire request. The approvers will be given 2 options, approve or reject. For first to respond, the approval or rejection request is completed by any approver. The actions that follow the start and wait for an approval action run after any one of the approvers gives approval. The custom responses allow you to define the options the assigned approvers can choose from, whether all approvers or any one approver responds. We'll select First to respond. For the title, we'll put in Vacation Request. I'll assign this to a test email for now. For the details, we can add dynamic entries to let the approver know who is requesting to go on vacation. I can scroll down or do a search for Created by Display Name. We can see from the icon type that this is being pulled from SharePoint. So we'll write Person X, want to go on vacation from start date until vacation end date. Note that you can use Markdown in this details field to format the way you want. Let's introduce some conditional logic. Select New Step, and then choose Condition from the list of actions. Configure the condition card by choosing Responses Approver Response. Set the condition to Approve. We will set the value in our condition to Approve. Time to manage the outcome. For approved requests, add an email action. This will notify relevant parties about the successful approval. We'll configure the email card with the necessary details. The to, subject, and body are required, so for who we are sending it to, I will click on Add Dynamic Content and choose Created by Email. In the subject, we'll type in, Your vacation request has been approved. In the email's body box, we'll add the approver's name and use the comments token from the approval's action to insert the approver's comments. We'll also need to add an update action for the approved request. We can update this to suit our needs, so we'll select Add an Action in the If Yes branch, and we'll search for SharePoint's update item. Again, we specify the site address and list. We choose the list item ID for the ID field. For the title, we'll select the title of the approval. We have to make sure that the approved is now set to yes, and we'll also add the approver's comments. For the If No branch, we can add an email action to handle rejected requests. Select Add an Action on the If No branch and we'll search for Send an Email. Time to configure our email to our needs. To complete the setup, add an update action for rejected requests using the update item. SharePoint action. Remember to configure the card with site address, list name, ID, and title. We'll choose the same info, but this time we'll set the approved field to No. I'll go ahead and save it. Note that you may get the message that no Microsoft Dataverse database for this environment has been provisioned. When you establish approval workflows, they're stored within Dataverse. At the start, when you employ the approvals connector within a Cloudflow situated in a different environment, the platform will autonomously set up a database. To ensure success, the individual executing the initial approval flow should hold an administrator position in that particular environment. Congratulations, you've created a dynamic automated cloud flow. It's time to put your creation to the test. In our SharePoint list, I'll go ahead and create an entry for a request. I'll click on New, give it a title, and provide the start and end date. I'll then click on Save. Note that when we trigger the flow will remain running on the start and wait for an approval request until the approver has submitted their feedback. As the approver, I'll go to my email and we can see I have received the vacation request. In our example, I am in essence my own manager. I can be difficult to manage, so I think I'll be nice to myself and approve my own holiday request. I can add a comment to it, have a good holiday, I'll confirm this. As mentioned in our test, I'm both making the request and approving the request. So if we wait a minute, we'll see the approved vacation request coming in. And there we have it, approved vacation. Submitted Sunday 20, August 2023 at 11:11. Wow, that's cool. The angels are looking after me. If I go to SharePoint, we can see the request details are now in our SharePoint list. In conclusion, you've now gained the essential skills to streamline and automate your approval processes across various platforms using Power Automate. With the approvals, start and wait for an approval action, you've learned how to craft sophisticated approval workflows tailored for documents and processes, transforming the way you manage tasks. By integrating SharePoint and leveraging the power of conditional logic, you can effortlessly oversee vacation requests, work orders, and other business processes. With this knowledge, you're ready to enhance efficiency, reduce errors, and create a more organized work environment. Congratulations on mastering this dynamic tool, and go ahead, put your new skills into action.